mayohosko coming to you at 60 frames per second in 4K resolution. No sugar, no filler, just real whole egg, and welcome to my channel. Well, our guest isn't even here right now, so I'm not sure what's up with that. We're just gonna have to stall for time until they get here. I have no idea what's going on. They're not here. They are not here. Where are they? They're not here. They were online, but they're not here. So I have no idea what's going on. But we can't do anything on this show without them. I can read messages from them from 16 minutes ago. Quote, "Yo, bro, you want to go backstage?" And that was 16 minutes ago, and they're not here. So I don't know what the hell is going on. We can't do anything without them. So we're just waiting. Someone needs to go get the Jeopardy theme until they get here, because we can't do anything. So I'm kind of in no man's land right now. So if anyone has any suggestions of what to do until they get here, throw it up in the comments in the chat. So I don't know what to do. If anyone wants to talk about something, I'd be happy to talk about it until they get here. But I don't know what to do until they get here. They were prepared to go, but they're not in the backstage, so I don't know what to do until they get here. I don't know what to talk about. So if anyone wants to talk about something until they get here, I'm happy to hear your suggestions. So if anyone has any ideas, feel free to lay it on me. But I don't know what to do in the meantime. That's what I was doing yesterday, Cliff. And I'm pretty happy that we're getting Jihad Campbell, and I'm pretty happy that we're also getting a cornerback to go opposite Patrick Surtain. That'll be nice additions to the team. What kind of Lego should we talk about? Is there any new sets coming out? Because I'll tell you what, I saw that there are some new not Minecraft, there's some new Fortnite sets, and there's one set in particular that is related to the Durr Burger, and I wouldn't have known about it until a few hours ago. There it is. What was going on?
I was just trying to get stuff set up here.
Okay. Well, the people in chat will know how I was feeling. Anyway, so welcome to today's stream, everybody. We're going to be doing a live hangout with my good friend Scott Blocks.
Hey, Lego peeps.
So before I do the little skit that we have planned, some people might know that we always ask our guests the 3 questions. So do you remember the 3 questions?
Nope. So forgive me, but that just makes it more fun, right?
Yeah. What did you buy any Lego this week? How was your week? And do you have any news about your collection or your social media? You can answer them in any order that you want.
All right, I'll try to answer them in the order they were given. So, yes, I most certainly did buy new Lego this week. Specifically the last 2 days. All pick-a-brick parts, actually.
Really,
My store finally got its collection of masonry bricks, and I took advantage of that today.
I know that Hoarder 66 also took advantage recently.
Right. Yeah, we got some similar parts as well that both showed up at our stores.
I think something happened.
Ooh, yeah, my Wi-Fi dropped out for a second. Sorry about that. But pretty uneventful. Except for getting to go to the Lego store. But I was just kind of at home this week, but able to get some stuff done around here a little bit. So that's always nice. Yeah.
And
And
did you?
go ahead.
Yeah. And the third question.
Yes. Well, if you know me, you know I'm not well known for making posts. Um, I haven't done a city update in forever, and I desperately need to do one. So I will try to get one of those done pretty soon. Um, I might even do a little video on all these pick-a-brick parts that I've picked up in the past 2 days. Um, but other than that, nothing major. I had a little bit of a incident happen today with my uh campground layout that I had going on with the Lego A-frame cabin and the Funhole A-frame cabin. So I will be redoing that layout, unfortunately.
Nice. So before we get on to the interview questions, let's see who we have in chat. We
Indeed.
had Johnny G earlier, and now we have Cal,
Yo,
Cliff,
yo,
uh, TMC Dina,
there.
uh, Lego Team Bean,
Zzz,
and Brick Hive.
zzz. Y'all both get a zzz.
So welcome all of you to today's stream. I was going to get to that, Cal. I just wanted to let Scott finish answering the questions because we have a rundown sheet. It's a very loose rundown, but we have a rundown nonetheless. So because of people in chat, we have some things to play. So let me get to those things that we need to play. So this is
Mhm.
for Cliff.
Mayo is frozen on the stream. That is so hilarious. Look at him. Everybody's talking. He's frozen. Super focus, Mayo. Super focus. Look at him. Yep. If you move, you gotta give us Lego.
This is for the folks at Clickin' and Brickin'. And this is for the birds and the bees.
Are you afraid of bees? They're only insects after all. I wouldn't care if hundreds were swarming around. I'd just blow smoke and make them buzz off. Buzz, 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 retorted Duck.
What's the buzz?
That's because we're sparring partners, Cal. Hello, General Tron. Well, I will be going on cam on the LEGO Transocean stream tomorrow because I'm going to start building the LEGO Blacktron Renegade.
Ooh, that is definitely on my wanted list.
I only go on camera when I have LEGO to build, and next week I'm going to be doing lots of social media projects because of my 24th birthday. And amongst that, we'll be building the LEGO Blacktron Cruiser. No, sorry, not the Cruiser, the Renegade. So I'll actually have a reason to turn on my camera. Hooray!
Yay!
Also, now we have Zelda and Hobby Hooligan. Welcome, welcome.
PPP,
So,
Kevin.
Exact. Oh, yes. Indeed, it is a PPP. PPP. The weed. And also, we all know who this is for.
Paradisa, Paradisa, sun is shining all day.
Exactly. Yeah, let's go Blacktron. And also, I'll be happy to do all of my different projects for my 24th birthday. A lot of people would think with the stuff I know about LEGO that I'm double that age.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my biggest fears actually is back injuries. I don't want to end up like where Ben Simmons is at in the NBA. I hope I don't ever have a back injury like that. Rest well, recover, and get well soon, General Tron. Yeah, so do we want to get started with the interview? Yeah, 12 plus 12. Yeah, that's a good one, Cal. Anyway, so we're going to get started into the interview, and if anyone else new pops up in the chat, we'll make sure to say hello to them, because there was a little something special that happened yesterday that both Scott and I have a vested interest in.
A little bit.
And because of that, we're excited for different reasons. And you're sporting the rep from Who Dat Nation right now.
Yep, I figured, I might as well be on topic here.
Exactly, and that couldn't be a more appropriate cap to wear on stream right now. What was that? I think something's going on. Yeah, I was saying that couldn't be a more appropriate cap to wear on stream right now, because okay, live chat, are you ready? The 2025 YouTube draft is now officially open. The Octane Man reminds you to subscribe to mayohosko. The LEGO community is on the clock.
Oh no!
With the first pick of the 2025 YouTube draft, the LEGO community selects Mayohosko, Vintage LEGO, South Australia.
It's amazing that Mayo knows more about some American stuff than we do. Like, Mayo is so freaking smart, man. I was just talking the other night about how like you could almost ask Mayo probably any question, he could probably get it figured out for you.
Is this what you want? You see this? Look at this. Look what you've done.
With the second pick of the 2025 YouTube draft, the LEGO community selects Scott's Blocks, PPP LEGO, Louisiana. PPP.
The weed.
With the ninth pick of the 2025 YouTube draft, Who Dat Nation selects Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, Texas. With the 31st pick of the 2025 YouTube draft, Philly Nation selects Jihad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama. Yeah, that was our little skit.
Nice. I like that, man. Cool.
And we'll get more onto that after we go through the standard interview questions. I probably spent about all in total an hour at getting that script right and syncing up that with the NFL draft chime and some of my cutaways that I thought was appropriate. Anyway, let's get this ball on the road. So, what year did you start collecting Lego?
Well, the first time around started as a child, normal thing. And I remember summertime, my brother and I would build all our Lego sets and get some cardboard boxes and make a little Lego city. And my mom would let us keep it set up all summer. And that was fond memories and stuff like that. And I had mostly city sets, and he was more into the pirate stuff, but together we made it work, And of course, grow up, life happens, have a kid, all of that. And so I started looking at Lego again, just remembering how much I liked it as a child. And let's see what kind of stuff my son might be able to get into and whatnot. And man, was I blown away.
So
And,
you mentioned, so that was kind of a lead on to another one of my questions. So you did have a dark age.
Indeed, absolutely. Probably from like 16 to 30.
So I'm gonna assume that you started collecting Lego when you were 4 or 5.
I'm trying to think when my first set was. Probably, 5, 6, something like that. Yep.
Yeah, because I started collecting Lego when I was 4. So do you remember your first Lego set?
Well, the first Lego set that I can remember owning, I actually found on eBay because I had lost it throughout the years. I don't have any of my real original Lego from when I was a child, but I was able to find this.
Oh, do we have a live set in hand, do we?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Let's see
flip
what it is.
on here.
This could be interesting. I don't think I've had one of my interviewees bring up their first set.
This is
Oh,
the
a little tow truck with the old style toe piece that Cal and I really like.
and the hood opens.
Nice. It's from
And
that era.
it
And
has
it's got the suspension.
is why I wanted this set so bad. I remember seeing it on the picture on the box, and it had like a little mound of dirt or something that it was crawling over because it has the suspension. And this is one of the few Lego sets that I can remember the set number, because this is an evil Lego set. It is set number 666.
Ooh. I want to see that really quickly. See if we can get a picture of that online. Because I think that design is too late to be from the 3-digit era.
Oh, it's 0666. That's right.
Okay, 0666. Let's pull up a picture of that. See if Brickset has something for that. Also, hello, Owen. Owen's building the 25th anniversary Millennium Falcon right now. So enjoy that project, Owen. And yes, Cal and I both got excited when you showed off that toe hitch piece. Really nice.
It's staying on here.
So when I search for 0666, I get a Star Wars Flame Trooper.
Okay.
Are you sure it was 6660?
Yes.
Okay, let me try putting 6660. Yes,
Yeah.
the hook and hole wrecker.
There she is.
So let's go share the screen so that we can see this set. So this is the first set you can remember owning.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So it is Lego set 6660, Hook and Hole Wrecker. It was from Lego Town, came out in 1989. So I guess from that we can presume that Scott was born sometime in the mid 80s. Had 52 pieces and one minifigure, originally retailed for $6 US.
Yep, that's the picture that was embedded in my brain. I was so impressed with the suspension. I said, "Oh, I just have to have this."
Nice. And so if this set came out in 1989, that might have been when my brother got his first stuff of Lego, because I remember inheriting some town sets from him that actually had the suspension piece, and I don't remember growing up with that torso, but I did remember growing up with both of those red suspension pieces and that toe hook. So perhaps maybe that minifigure with the big rig on his torso got lost amongst my older brother's bulk Lego, but
Right.
perhaps it was in one of his bulk lots.
Indeed.
Because I remember those 3 distinct pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
if you look at the box art, you see that the little antenna pieces go on top of the little rail, but I actually put them on the side and use them as if they're controls for the hook.
yeah, let me see if I can if I can find an image for the box of it. Where is it? Okay, well that was the box. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place right now. That was the box, but you can, if I can get this right, see from the Bricklink listing of this set. If I zoom in here, that's not gonna zoom in. Yeah, that's not gonna zoom in. But you can see that the antennas are sticking at the back here. Anyway, nice. So that was very fun to see that in hand, because that's the first time that's happened. So very, very fun. So yeah, so you mentioned that you got out of your you mentioned that you went into a dark age when you were a teenager. So do you remember the last things you were doing with your Lego collection before you went into a dark age?
Yeah. I had built a mock of like a lowrider truck, and back in the '90s, that was kind of a trend to have, like a lowrider truck where the bed lifts up and stuff like that. So I had that on it. Um, and one or two other larger style cars that I had built and just kind of had on display.
And
But that was
I think Hobby Hooligan also remembers that set.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned that you mainly had town, but your brother had pirates, was it?
Yep.
So did you two kind of mix your Lego together, or did you try keep it secret to preserve? Let's say, or did you try keep it separate to preserve the original value and integrity of the sets?
Yeah, as children, we had no clue. Shit, as an adult, I had no clue up until a few years ago. The whole resale and original value of Lego at the time for us.
Yeah, I think this is going to happen every now and again. There's going to be a slight little dropout, so we'll just wait for it to rebuffer. Yeah, we're back. Yeah,
Um,
and yeah, you were talking about how you played Lego with your brother.
right. And we would keep our stuff separate because I wanted to make sure I had all the parts for my set so I could build it. But that was the only reason that we really wanted to hold on to it so much. It wasn't about a value thing as far as monetary. It was just, I want to make sure I can still build my set. But we would intertwine, like I would have cars rolling right next to boats.
Yeah, we'll play PPP again, Johnny. PPP.
The weed.
So, yeah, so, so that's what you were doing before, you went into your dark age. So, do you remember which Lego set got you out of your dark age?
It would have been one of the I want to call it creator style, but one of the older style model sets that I want to say it was like a 3-in-1, um but it was on a larger scale, like almost like a Technic scale, and it was a car.
This is going to happen again. Yes, Johnny, we played Paradisa when I noticed that that Zelda was in here. So you were saying a 3-in-1 but Technic scale?
Yes, and it was like a truck with a trailer and a car that you could offload the trailer, and the trailer kind of moved and stuff.
Because I'm trying to picture creative 3-in-1 sets like that. I don't think I have a full picture. Was it kind of like so? Yeah, because I don't know how to picture what you're describing. I want to see if I can find a picture of it for the viewers. Do you know
Right.
the set number of it?
Oh God, no.
So you
Couldn't
said
tell
it
you.
was a creator 3 in you said it was a creator 3-in-1.
I believe so. And it would have been from like the early '90s.
Oh,
Early.
the early 90s. Creator 3-in-1 didn't exist back then. Are you talking about about the model team theme?
That might have been what it was.
Okay, let me search for the model team sets. Lego model team. There aren't that many, so I can go over onto Brickset and scroll through them to get a basic picture. So you said it was a set with a trailer.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I think this might fit the bill. Let me throw this up. Also, hello, Crimson Toaster.
Hey, what's up,
Um,
Chris? Good to see you, buddy.
yeah, the real we haven't played the real whole egg intro since um from Blocks to Mox retired as my co-host. So let me throw this up on the screen. I might be able to picture what you're talking about. Is it this set?
Um,
The model team set 5581 because you said it had a trailer.
right, right. I don't
It's
remember being quite that detailed. I want to say the trailer was pretty plain, but I
because
don't.
this set was from 1993, so you must have bought this trying to get some memories back from your childhood.
Hmm.
Well, this is a model team set with a trailer, but there's also this this was a 2-in-1. Was it this? The model team set 5591. Does any of this jog your memory?
That second picture definitely looks familiar.
So do you remember the red and white color scheme?
I kind of do. I think that might have been it right there. Yeah.
So you think it was this set that got you out of your
That was
dark age?
probably.
Set
Yeah.
5591 from 1994.
Hmm.
Because you said you thought it was a 3-in-1. Well, most of the model teams were 2-in-1, especially if they had a trailer.
Right.
And that's what was good about the model team theme is they were trying to be creator expert before 20 years before creator expert.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Trying to pave the way.
Because there's not that many model team sets, so we can scroll through all of them. This is something that I really want, the giant truck. That one doesn't have a trailer.
Mhm.
So whichever of the model team sets that you were trying to describe, it was probably either the Mark Red 2 Redbird rig or the Magic Flash. Nice. So before we answer any more questions, I'm gonna go over the chat and see what relevant stuff people have been saying. So
Indeed.
let me scroll through the chat. What are people saying? Yes, I only go on camera when I have Lego sets to build. I'm doing super because I'm happy with our draft pick in the first round. Adina says, "Where is the minifig club theme for me and for Heather?" We're working on it. What is other people saying? Well, that's because I'm working on a backdoor deal. We might have something special coming soon. I'm not sure what that means. No, Scott was wearing a Saints cap.
Right.
What are people saying? Does someone have a broken clock? Because I always hear people telling me that a broken clock is right twice a day. Zelda says, I think Mayo says, I think it was Mayo with 32 pounds of Lego in the hallway. Hello, Owen. I forget if I said hello. Apparently apparently either you, Scott, or someone in chat deserves a new car.
Right.
Well, if your TV got stuck on one channel, that's a pretty good channel for it to get stuck on. Totally not being biased or anything. No. Yeah, so people were impressed with the working suspension. 1989, that was a really good year. Arguably one of my top 10 years for Lego because they had some really good sets at the time. Hobby says eBay is how I crawled out of my Dark Age 2, Scotty. Have a lot of original bricks from my first set. I will also I will have to build that one. Man, that brings back some memories. Owen says my first Lego set was a Lego pyramid board game you had to build. It came with a die too. Yeah, so that would have been one of the Lego game sets, maybe Ramsey's pyramid. Let me know if I'm if that was the one, Owen. General says, yeah, I got the beach buggy with the sailboard that had those suspension axles. I'm not sure what the prize wheel set is. Crimson was on a Discord call before he got here. Good to see you here, Crimson. Zissou thinks that set looks amazing. Lego should make sets like that again.
Right?
Well, I'm not even sure if TMC has a theme. Do they? Someone let me know.
You got to get Seth to write them.
Yes, perhaps they could commission Seth Bland to write them a theme. Yes, I was right. Owen did own the Ramses Pyramid Lego game. So that was what everyone was saying in chat. So we got so you said that your favorite was you said that you grew up collecting Lego Town. Now we've evolved into Lego City. So is that still your favorite? Is that still your favorite theme, or are there other themes that you prefer more now?
I don't know, Mayo. You tell me if I still like City or not.
Yeah, buddy. Look at that glorious city.
So clearly I've kept with the theme throughout the years.
Yeah, let's put that on the full screen. We don't need to see my ugly profile.
Matter of fact, I can put him back over here by the garage where he goes.
Oh, so you actually keep it in the garage. That's very fitting.
Yeah, that way there's more than one tow truck that works at the gas station, you know?
Yeah, nice. So
And
there, so you got a lot of the modulars right there. That's a modular street.
Then I have this whole conglomeration over here.
With a 3-track level crossing. That's pretty special.
Oh yeah. I haven't finished it yet, but I have finished this one.
Which has those really cool crossing gates and signals that you built a while ago that actually have lights in them. How cool is that?
Power going to them.
Yeah. How cool is that? Because didn't you say that's using some of the Bevan's Bricks lights?
That's using all of Bevan's Bricks products right there. The controller for the flash and all the LEDs and the little battery box. And of course, that's too.
Nice.
And another little bit that I have.
Oh, you got some of your street lights with the lights too. And I see some of those Duplo invaders from the Lego Movie too there.
Yes, I have a battle going on. I got the giant Unikitty and the Duplo people kind of invading, and that's why the battle bus showed up, because he heard there was a battle, so there he is.
Nice. And yeah, because like I I always get jealous when I see your green grocer.
Yes. Well, full disclosure here. This is not Lego. This is not Lego. This is not Lego. And this is not Lego.
So is that is that Lepin / Mold King?
Yes, it is the brand that shall not be named.
I thought the brand that shall not be named was what people were trying to dub Funhole as.
No. Now this obviously was not Lego, but I just thought it was really cool to have a Barnes and Noble. And I'm trying to find my flashlight. Give me a second here. Just where I can show you all this back section here. I have a Baskin Robbins.
With 31 flavors.
Uh-huh. I don't know how good you can see it. I can try coming around here.
Yeah, we can barely make out the pink lettering.
Right.
There it is. No, sorry,
Yeah.
it wasn't lettering, it was the awnings.
And then I have a Dunkin' Donuts on the other side.
So if anyone has a sweet tooth, go to those two joints right there, or if you have any of the munchies after smoking some PPP.
Right. Got a little active alleyway going on through here.
Oh, we got one of those stoppages. TMC Dina loves ice cream. I've got some cookies and cream ice cream in my freezer.
And I actually do have lights inside of this hotel sign too. If you give me a second, I'll turn them on. I have to take the first floor off to get to the battery pack. So give me just a second here. Oop, while I put y'all down. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Let's do this until you can get your camera on. Yeah, so while you're doing that, and since you showed us a bunch of those modulars, what is your favorite of the modulars?
I don't know, dude. That's a hard call. I almost want to say the downtown diner because this was the first modular that I bought. Shortly after the Lego store finally opened up down here, I went in and saw this and fell in love with it. So probably this one. Or I don't know, man. This one or maybe the Jazz Club.
And the jazz club is very fitting for Louisiana.
Right, and then mine's a little bit modified.
Oh yeah, because it looks like you expanded the dark red part of the building.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Nice. And you got my new favorite modular to the left of that, the two-door corner.
Yes. Which, as you can see it, I have not Scottified it yet.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, that's a good segue. Where did the Scottified phrase come from?
I kind of just made it up because it sounded like Spotify.
A lot of people are still trying to get their hands on an official Lego Cafe corner. It's really expensive.
Indeed. Yeah, that's why I bought two for less than the price of one.
Yeah, that's a non Lego product, and I can see that you got some backdrops hanging on your wall.
Yes. Something you're very familiar with, of course.
Yeah, because that's obviously supposed to be from Sydney Harbour,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm not sure what that mountain range is.
Oh man, I believe it's in Asia somewheres.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So So like there's a lot of really cool things in your Lego city, but what's your favorite area of your city? Oh, that's some
Um,
good lights right there.
yeah, just to kind of show off my hotel sign. That's the best I could find. I really want something a little bit better, but it doesn't have enough outputs for me to do all the letters how I want. But either way, it kind of does what I want it to do. But just the way you can kind of see.
And
Come
there's
on.
some and that constant flickering between the red and green is that you've got your traffic lights set up,
Yes, yes, they will change.
which is just really, really cool.
Yeah, it's nice having that little bit of realism going on.
I still remember when Bevan did his city update showing that product, and almost everyone in the comments was so impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So what? Yeah.
that's
So
actually the only
what's
thing that I have lighting on too.
yeah? So what's your favorite part of your city?
Um, probably.
Another one of those stoppages. I'm going to reach across to my water. Yeah. So what's your favorite part of your city? As
My
you
track layout, because that was the whole reason why I built the city in the first place, was to have a permanent track layout. And considering the limited space that I had, I felt like I did pretty good with what I have going on. But while we're talking about track layout, I do want to highlight Tricks Bricks with this Y here. Hold on, let me get y'all some light. But with this Y split track really allowed me to save a lot of space and still be able to do what I want to do with my trains. That way I can still have a complete turnaround within this small area.
And for those who don't know, Trixbricks is a manufacturer of 3D printed train tracks that's compatible with Lego.
And that's also why I have different radius turn, is because of good old Tricks Bricks.
Mhm. Because it looks like the inside track is the normal R20, but is the middle one R40 and the outside R60?
Um, Actually, Lego Track is R40, and then I think this is 60, and then this is 80.
Oh, okay. See, I always get that mixed up with the radius.
I hear you. It's all good. And
Yeah.
then I know Tricks Bricks also makes a R108. So that would
Yeah,
be just
yeah, I've seen people that have made stuff like the Union Pacific, a big boy, runs on R108, and sometimes even some of their R140 curves.
oh wow.
Yeah. So you got a bunch of trains on your layout. Which of your trains is your favorite?
Probably the one that I don't have motorized yet.
The Orient Express?
Yeah, she is a beauty. I always wanted to get into 8 wide trains, thinking I would have to go through and buy someone's instructions or something like that, and then buy parts and all of that. So when Lego finally came out with that, I was thoroughly impressed.
Because some people might remember when some people and yourself built the Orient Express, well, part of the Orient Express, on a stream I hosted when I was giving my critiques about that set. But nonetheless, if you're not a train nerd like I am, and you just appreciate and you just appreciate a Lego set that looks nice, then you can enjoy that set.
Right, and that's all I bought it for. Just the fact of having a good looking Lego train and having a nice build to go with it. You know.
Yeah, because you wouldn't care that's not an accurate that's not an accurate livery. The fact that it doesn't have the proper smoke deflectors, the fact that it's not a proper SNCF, um, that it's not a proper SNCF and Mikado class. I forget what the class number was, and that it doesn't have the right wheel configuration, and that it doesn't have the right shape of the tender. You don't care about that, which is why you can enjoy that set. I care a lot about that stuff, which is why I have a lot of critiques with that set. But if you just go into it blindly, then you can enjoy that set.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Which is kind of a curse of me knowing, well, of me knowing a lot. And so the fact that I can look at an objectively beautiful set and then subjectively criticize it is why I say that I don't know a lot. I know too much. Because a lot of people come at me and say, "Well, I know so much," but because I do know so much, I also know more problems about a lot of things than what some people might realize, which kind of takes some of the whimsy and the fun out of it. But I'm glad that you can enjoy a set that I have a lot of questions about its prototypical accuracy. And anyway, let's move on from that. Those are some nice intermodal trucks right there. Got some 20-foot shipping containers on them.
Yeah. This is from Blue Bricks, and they designed it to try to navigate the Lego track. So the trucks are on a very odd pivot point, and it doesn't really slide too smoothly on that. So it looks great, but it's not the best of operation, and it certainly does not work on Lego track. It works okay on this wider radius, but that's really about it.
Yeah, I can tell there's a lot of compromises in that because a normal set of bogey wheels would have the pivot in the center of the bogey rather than at the back of the bogey.
Yeah, instead of this odd configuration here, like I said, it doesn't really like to function how they wanted it to. But it's it is nice to look at. And then now this one works good. I'll crank this train up here in a second to get these out the way here.
And I think everyone in chat is just in such awe about your Lego collection because they haven't said anything in 12 minutes. They must be that impressed with your city.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on back to my questions. And now we're going to go amongst the faves. So, do you have a favorite year for Lego?
Probably. I mean, to me, all the best sets came out when I missed out on them, like around 2010. Because that was right around the time I had my son and everything. And after I had him, I started looking at Lego and realizing all this cool stuff that I missed out on because, oh, this set's retired. Oh, this set's retired, you know?
Yeah, so 2010. That was the year when the yellow freight train and the red passenger train came out for the power functions trains.
Hmm. And I
And
want to
also-
say it was right around the same era that the Emerald Knight came out too.
Yeah, because the Emerald Knight came out the year prior in 2009. TMC Dina says, I only own one retired set. Do you want to share what that one retired set is? Because I could probably count on 10 hands the amount of retired sets that I own.
Oh yeah, dude, that list is endless.
Yeah. See, I think there was something special about that turn of the decade because Lego was 5 years coming out of their avoidance of the of of the bankruptcy, and they got back into their groove. Because we had Miss Amby on last week, and she said her favorite year was 2011, and now today you're saying your favorite year was 2010.
Yep, there you go. So that was clearly a good era in Lego.
Yeah, because some of Lego's most memorable sets, like what you said with the Emerald Knight, came out at that time. So 2010 is your favorite year. So what's your favorite set ever?
Um, Probably either the Ecto one or the '89 Batmobile.
Really?
Yeah, just between the being what it is, the build itself, and the finished product, and just how iconic they are. Um, I really enjoyed those sets. I think if I had to get rid of everything, those would be the hardest to get rid of.
So do you own them both?
Indeed, I do. We
So when
will.
so when you bought the '89 Batmobile, did you get it at that time when they had the microscale GWP available with it?
Yes, yes. Matter of fact, I can show you all that one first.
Because I know a lot of people bought the '89 Batmobile at that time to get that, and there it is in the flesh.
Hmm.
Nice with the flame at the back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I was
think that
very happy.
I think that GWP sells for over $100 these days.
I would not be the least bit surprised. Yeah, these are not here. I was just kind of playing around with ideas on that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so I know that they made a couple versions of the Ecto one. Is that the original Ecto one?
well, this is technically from Afterlife. I just didn't put all the rust stickers on it.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the second edition of the Ecto one, and it seems like you got the DeLorean there.
Yes, sir.
Owen says that they also have the '89 Batmobile. Yeah, you've got the DeLorean there. And what's that? And is that the '89 Batmobile there?
Yes, sir.
Nice, really nice.
And then we got the minifig 66 over there.
Yeah, because that one's from the classic TV series Batcave set from 2015.
Mm-hmm. And then I have the animated series Batmobile, just because that was like my soap opera when I was a kid, man. I used to love that show, so
Yeah.
had to get it.
I think Cal would be happy to see all of your Batmobilia right there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then over here we have one of the few true mocks I can say I built. This is completely my mock. You know what I'm saying? I don't really build mocks much, but this is one of them. It's a shotgun house. I'm not going to take it down. It doesn't have a full interior on it or anything, but that was just my take of a New Orleans style shotgun house.
Nice. Wings close to home, and it's been well well documented the stuff that you did with the botanical gardens, and you've also got the Nightmare Before Christmas there.
Oh yeah, had to get it.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
so what's your favorite minifigure ever?
Ooh, man, I don't know.
Because your profile picture is the original Octan man with
Right, yeah.
with some
Those
modifications to the
were,
hair.
yeah, those.
I think we had another cutout. Anyway, so if anyone has anything to say to Scott, be more than happy to read it in between asking questions throughout this interview.
And in between me dropping out.
Yeah. Um yeah, so is that a question that just stumped you? Because if so,
A little bit.
that's the first one of the day. I always look forward to see if I can stump anyone with any of my questions, because there is the original Octan torso from 1992.
Right, man. This guy might be my favorite, but it's not 100% Lego. But
I can't tell what that character is supposed to be. Looks like
Rick Sanchez. I'll take him out the case. Hold on.
it looks like something out of a horror movie or something.
It's Rick Sanchez.
Is that a custom from
Yeah,
someone?
yeah.
Do you know what the brand is?
Um,
'Cause it looks like
minifig. Me,
because it
but
looks like a price tag of $18.
yeah, it was not cheap. But oh, let me do like that.
Well, that is a pretty detailed figure, right there. Looks like it's got a Dr. Inferno's hair from Lego Agents, of which was also being sold in your favorite year, 2010.
Ah, yes indeed. But yep, good old Rick Sanchez. You son of a bitch.
So TMC Dina says, now I'm unsure if the set I was talking about is retired. I swear I saw it the other day saying retired, but now it says sold out. Set 43221, the Disney frame 100 years. It was like still cool. We can look up that set number for you, Adina. Set 43221. Yeah, because on the actually yes, it is a retired product. I'll confirm any doubt that you have, Dina. At least on the Australian Lego website, it does say that it's a retired product.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. It is a retired product. Let's get Scott back on full screen just as long as he's showing his amazing city.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we answered those. So we got your favorite set, we got your favorite year, we got your minifig. I think oh shit, what was that? I just squeezed something. Sorry.
Yeah.
I got totally distracted right there. Sorry. Yeah, so I think that's all the questions that we ask getting through your childhood and getting through your faves. But I think there's something that I did forget to ask is can you summarize your life story with Lego in 60 seconds or less?
Just something that my son and I could kind of share a passion for together, and also give me a chance to reignite my passion for it, and kind of help bring a childhood dream come true, because this was my dream as a child, seeing Lego trains and stuff like that. It's like, man, what I wouldn't give to have a permanent layout where I don't, because like I said earlier, that was our thing with my brother and I. We would make our own little layout, and then 2.5 months later or whatever, summertime's over with, pack it all up and wait till next year.
Nice.
That's
See,
nice.
I think it's those childhood memories with the Lego product that we savor forever. Now that we've all become AFOLs.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, and so so now this is the portion of the show where we go into talking about you want to talk about. So how do we want to steer the conversation for the rest of this stream? Because you've invested a lot in like in light kits for your Lego over the years. Because you got lights in the lighthouse right now.
Yeah, this is my custom lighthouse that I obviously did a color change to and added another layer. None of the lights in here are from Lego. I want to say the flicker flame controller.
So we had one of those cutouts again. Yeah. And something I've always been jealous of is that you've got the Vestas wind turbine.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a must get when I heard that they were bringing it back. I said, "Oh, well, now's my chance to get it." I got this on the first round, but I missed out on that. So yeah, I made sure to grab it.
Yeah, because I remember seeing the original version of the Vestas wind turbine in the Lego history book. That came out. That book came out when the Emerald Knight came out, and I thought that was such a cool set. And so I thought it was really neat when they re-released that set in 2019 or something.
Right. Yeah, I'll even put y'all down and y'all can watch me open the hotel here and turn these lights off.
Because you're one of the Lego YouTubers who I know for their light kits. It's you, and it's Red Coat Kyle. And recently I've been getting into Preston builds. His city has a lot of the lighting.
Yeah, that's it. Just a little battery pack with the controller in there.
Yeah. And I just spotted out the corner of the eye the car for the downtown diner.
Yep.
The pink doo-wop car. And also you got the Lego City delivery truck right there.
Oh yeah.
On the main street. And
Yeah.
I think that's Emmett's house, and there's Arsene from Toy Story.
Yep. With Woody driving them.
With the Woody minifigure minifigure inside.
We got Lord Business on vacation hanging out.
The president business wearing his golf attire.
Yep. We got a droid on a skateboard.
Ha, that's nice.
Yep.
And also you got a lot of speed champions sprinkled throughout your city.
Indeed, yes. I really tend to gravitate more towards this style of speed champs, which is getting few and far in between. But yeah, obviously I still don't mind getting a straight up race car or two, you know. And then even something a little smaller.
Yeah, because I think you're one of the people who I've heard wanting a general lean in Speed Champions.
Oh yeah, that would be freaking amazing.
And you got the Ecto one inside of the Ghostbusters right there.
Yes, sir.
Because who you gonna call?
Right? Couple of goat herders on a 4-wheeler ripping through town.
Yeah, because you were a big army builder of that goat herder CMF.
Yep, I had a little bit of them. I might have had one or two.
More like 1 or 2 dozen.
Not me.
Yeah. You know, something that always catches my eye is that piece of rolling stock you have transporting those pipes, because it's a bulk end flatbed in a bright red.
Ah, shit. Yeah, I really do like this cargo train and this one here. Definitely.
And that's a piggyback flatbed right there.
Yep. And all of these are from Blue Bricks.
You got a box car and a tanker.
The freezer car. And then a tank car.
Yeah.
And these ladders actually go on here, but they stick out because of the roundness of the tank. So I want to take a heat gun and curl them a little bit so they'll go straight down. I just haven't gotten around to that project yet.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fun stuff going on in your city.
Yeah, a few little things, you know. I actually used to have a lot more kind of minifigs and stuff set up, but with me doing the brick built roads, I haven't wanted to put all my stuff out yet because I still got all of this right here to finish doing with my roads. But again, I got my hands on some parts and stuff, so I've been working on some sections already, doing some crosswalks. Because I'm thinking I'm gonna have this kind of down here at the end, and I'm gonna be pushing these crosswalks out away from the corner a little bit more. So, yep, getting that little project going a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about stuff. Yeah, because we both really like trains.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Which is why your city is more so for the trains.
Right. Yeah.
And when I get my city back up and running, I want to build a lot of infrastructure for the trains.
Yeah, that's something I kind of tried to do a little bit. I'd actually like to add some lights to them, but I have a little signal here, a little signal box here. I've got another signal over there, of course, my crossing. But yeah, it is nice having some of those little extra details to go with the railway.
And as I always tell Lego City builders, it's the small details that make everything come to life.
And it's the small details that help set your layout apart from everybody else's. Anybody can buy a bunch of Lego modulars and put them on a table, but it's how you display them and how you have that storytelling, like, why is there a droid on a skateboard, that really help make it your own and set you apart from everybody else.
And also other such storylines as, why is Miss Amby's sig fig standing outside of the market street?
Right.
Yeah, stuff like that. Which is what and because like that storytelling is key for Lego City, which is why when I get your sig fig Cliff's sig fig, when I get out my sig cow, and when I'm able to get some other people's sig figs, get y'all and also the macro brick sig fig get y'all involved in the PPP ring story I'm doing in my city. Dina says my Lego city would mostly be rainbows and sparkles and mushrooms, very fun and weird.
Hey, that's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, because you're trying to get into city building, Owen. So being able to utilize the minifigs to create scenes in a city is what ties everything together, because it looks like the city is lived in rather than in it just being a concrete jungle, which is how some people rapidly build their city, but they kind of forget about the small stuff in between, because there is a lot of people who have a big expansive city with a lot of tall buildings. The problem is it feels more like a concrete jungle rather than a place where the minifigures live. And clearly Scott has gone for the approach of making it look like the minifigs actually live there. So do you have a name for your city?
Yeah, Scott's blocks, as in city blocks, you know?
Ah, I see it there.
Right.
Because when
But
I see your city, and I know that your channel is Scott Blocks, I think of Scottsdale, Arizona.
okay, okay. No, I'd like to think my city is just a little bit better than Scottsdale.
Yeah, I actually know some people that live near the Scottsdale area, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll say.
So Owen says mine would be sets. No, sorry, mine wouldn't be sets. It would be all mock city structures,
There
and
you go.
that's something that a lot of city builders get criticized for, is just only using sets, and that's because there are so many awesome Lego cities that are either only mocks or are a combination of sets and mocks. And when you're able to use your own creativity to make a mock look as good as a set, that's where you know that you've got some skill in Lego. And
And
who and who knows, maybe we could encourage TMC Dina to get a city going. I personally, as a city builder, like to encourage anyone to build a Lego city if they can, because I know how much fun they are. Scott knows how much fun they are. Some of my other friends in the community make regular city updates, so they know how much fun they are. And also, I'm a mock builder, not a set builder. So much like other mock builders like Cal, I always like to encourage people to use their own creativity to make mocks. And for those who don't know, Owen has actually made videos about his mocks on his channel, if any of y'all wanted to check that out. But as far as Scott's blocks stuff goes, you can find the links for his YouTube channel and his Instagram in the description below.
thank you much.
Yeah, so
I
I
have
think.
I have that one little mock I just showed over there, and then this is another one I did here.
Oh, I've seen a lot of people doing their own modifications of the Townhouse Pet Shopping Cafe set. I'm trying to do my own modifications with that set. That's one of those sets, the Lego Creator 3-in-1 Townhouse Pet Shopping Cafe, that is perfect. Well, that is that perfect enough. It's like a mock builder's dream, because there's so much potential for modification with that set.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
General says I'm a set and mock builder, but not many sets stay built. I'm kind of the same. My parents would used to criticize me that I took apart my sets and I didn't keep them keep them together. But then they realized that I was using my creativity and using Lego as an outlet for that creativity, and they realized I was making mocks on a regular basis. So then they weren't as stressed that I don't keep my sets together anymore. But that was all 10 years ago when I was starting out my channel. There are some sets like the Ice Planet sets I grew up with and the Blacktron sets I grew up with that I would like to get back together. I do want to see if I can piece those sets back together, even if I have to buy duplicates of those pieces because they were either lost or I'm using them in mocks. I really want to do that. But particularly when I started getting gung-ho into the Lego City theme in the late 2000s, almost none of those sets are still together. Not just because I'm a mock builder, not a set builder, but also I'm a vintage Lego builder, not a contemporary Lego builder. You are clearly a contemporary Lego builder.
Indeed, absolutely. Yeah, I got back into Lego way too late in the game to be trying to get into the vintage stuff too much. I'm happy to have that tow truck set, you know, but
Yeah. So Dina says, I'm not really a mock builder, but I do keep trying. Well, I'm sure that all of us will be glad to keep encouraging you to build mocks because I'm sure Scott has felt that same feeling with the mocks that he's shown off. There's something so accomplishing and you feel proud about yourself when you can properly execute a mock that you've conjured up in your mind. That's how you would have felt about that house that you built, and that's how I feel, and that's how I feel about the series of habitats that I've been building.
right. And as well, you should, because yeah, like I mentioned the other day, those are really cool, man. I like how those are coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, some people are having their own conversation in the chat, and I'm glad that streams like that can be an outlet for them coming to their own identity.
Hmm.
Yeah. So like I'm always glad when I get the opportunity to talk to you, Scott, because that means that most likely we get to see your Lego collection.
Right. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm about to step out for a second here. You might want to take me off full screen. I don't think everybody wants to see my mug all night.
Hello, Mikey J Productions. I enjoyed your video today. Yeah, because for those who don't know, Mikey J has been doing weekly videos about his collection, and he's actually starting to do a Disneyland section.
Oh, hold on a second here.
Well, I think all of this calls for this again. Are you ready, Scott? Yeah, so it seems like he's still trying to set his stuff up. See, that's the magic of these live hangouts.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. That's the magic of these live hangouts, Dina. I might do an interview with someone who I've been talking to for a while now, or it might be someone that I've only just developed a relationship with. I always learn something new from whoever I interview in these one-on-one hangouts, particularly when it comes to their childhoods. And I always enjoy when they think about what their first set was, because that means we can go back in time and see what previous eras of what Lego looked like. So like Scott's first set he can remember was from 1989. I gotta say that my favorite years from Lego was probably 1987 to 1994 because that was because that was the years from the Futuron monorail to the Unitron monorail, and everything in between was really good. That the model team set that you bought on eBay or wherever to get out of your dark age, that was in that time frame. And there was so many good space sets, like the 3 space themes that were the 3 vintage space themes that were a part of the CMF Series 27, which I built habitats for. Mikey can attest to all of the great castle sets that came out 1987 to 1994, because that was halfway, because that was when the Forestman came out to just before the Royal Knights came out. I think for a lot of people I know, there was something special about that era.
Oh yeah,
So,
man.
so I'm always glad when I can talk to people on these hangouts and we harken back to that era, and it was really special to see that you actually had the set in hand, which I think is a first for these live for this live hangout series that I do.
Well, I'm glad I could provide that. Yeah, I just recently acquired that. Um, was looking at a few of them available online. And of course, the price from used to new is like $100 difference. So being brand new in the box was not that big of a deal to me. Because I was going to open it and build it anyway. So yeah, found it on eBay at a decent price and scooped it up.
Nice. And this is something kind of a side track that's in relation to what's been going on in the past 2 days. Do you remember that Oyo Bricks used to make NFL sets?
No, I did not know that.
Because this is something I wanted to go over. It's a non-Lego product that doesn't have a lot of reasons for people in the Lego community to give a shit about, but for you in particular, Scott, and for me, it's somewhat relevant.
Okay.
It is the licensed NFL sets by Oyo Bricks. I wanna show off some of this crazy stuff.
Yeah, I want to check that out too. Now I did come across quite a few years ago, and it was probably inside of a Walgreens or something. But I came across a nano block set. Couldn't tell you the name brand of it, but it was the microscopic bricks, I call them, and it was a fleur de lis build,
Hmm.
and it
Yeah,
was
so this is one of the bigger Oyo brick sets. It's called the Buildable Game Day Field Set. So this had licensed players. So on the box, they advertise that they've got figures for Tom Brady, who's the greatest quarterback ever, Antonio Brown, who's arguably a top 5 wide receiver era, Odell Beckham Jr., who had arguably the greatest rookie year ever, with arguably the greatest catch ever, JJ Watt, who will be a Hall of Famer because he was a perennial defensive player of the year caliber player, my guy, Von Miller, who helped us win Super Bowl 50, and Richard Sherman, who is now a part of the Amazon coverage on Thursday Night Football and had a pretty good career as a cornerback in that legendary Legion of Boom.
right.
So I'm not sure if you've ever seen this before, but Oyo made sets like this.
I have not seen this before ever.
And I
Pretty
know that Brigza has some of the sets for the Atlanta Falcons, and he can attest that the quality is really bad.
I'm not surprised. But
And
that
I'm
is
not
still
Yeah, because that field honestly kind of looks like flag football because it's only got that line for the 50-yard line.
yeah.
But there's some other Oyo sets. Wait, hang on a minute. Sorry, I think I wasn't doing this right. I'm gonna stop sharing that screen. I wasn't showing that properly. Sorry, people. It's this. This is that Oyo.
Ah, okay. Huh, so it looks to be Lego style minifigs almost.
Yeah, obviously slightly different, so they could avoid Lego's trademark on the minifig.
Right.
Yeah, and so I'm not sure if we have any. Well, I'm not sure if any of y'all are NFL fans, but Mikey J Productions is absolutely a Detroit Lions fan. I'm an Eagles fan in the NFC, Broncos fan in the AFC, and that's because of my father. Who Dat Nation represents the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
Yeah, so Mikey J says the 2010s was a really good era as well. Good sets, but more reasonably priced than what we get now. Better minifigs then for sure. I think a lot of people say that the prices back then were more reasonable, but when you take into account inflation, not so much.
But also Lego
So General Tron is a Seattle Seahawks fan.
now Lego blatantly told us, "Yep, we're going to increase our prices by 20%."
And that
And
was inflation adjusted prices.
right, still,
Yeah. So it was so yeah, so these Oyo sets, they're really questionable because it was a good attempt, but the quality just wasn't up to scratch.
I'm sure.
And so let me
But it would be
share
cool just to get a printed NFL tile though.
of which there were printed NFL tiles in some of these Oyo sets. So if I go throughout Google Images, they made a lot of this stuff, and I think they made sets for individual teams.
Oh wow! It
Yeah,
looks like a player.
yeah, like the draft right now is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and there's an image of a Green Bay version of their end zone set.
Right, and looks like a couple of Packers players and a referee.
Yeah, because if we go up here, this is the thumbnail for the Atlanta Falcons version of that set on one of Brixar's alternate channels.
Okay, yeah, I see Brickstar Toys. Okay.
Yeah, which is now Jabbo37 is what he named that channel to. But it looks like some people have made their own stop motions, and I think
nice.
I think they sold singular minifig packs. Because
Wow.
there's a it looks like that's a Baltimore Ravens version of Eric Weddle. That must have been before he went to the Rams. And there's Saints.
Right.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints?
Is there a picture of the back of these minifigs?
I'm not sure, but that's a Saints version, and that's an
Yeah.
Eagles version. So
Nice.
that just turned up.
Whoa, does that minifig's arm stick out like that? The referee?
I'm not sure, but I wanna, just saying that's a Calvin Johnson version. So they don't make these sets anymore. I'm pretty sure Oyo lost the license, but
Right.
but they sold they would have had to sell 32 versions of these end zone sets, and they sold a lot of the minifigure packs.
Hmm.
There's a Broncos version of the end zone set. Nice. And some Lego people have submitted ideas projects about the NFL, which is never going to get through because the NFL license is really expensive.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so not a lot of people know that this stuff exists, but it does, and it was short-lived because the NFL license is so expensive.
And I wonder how successful Lego really was when they had the NBA licensing.
The NBA sets didn't really sell that well because they were only on shelves for 2 years. And that was
Right.
at an era, and that was in an era where Lego really didn't know what they were doing because that was the switch. That was the era when they switched from the classic greys to the bluish greys, the classic browns to the reddish browns. So Lego was going through a lot of changes then. 2003 was not only when the NBA sets came out, but also when the great color purge was.
Okay. Yeah.
So there was a lot of shifts with the Lego group happening at that time, and I think all of that meant that the NBA sets didn't sell as well as what they could have.
Gotcha.
And to my knowledge, I don't think the New Orleans Pelicans had a single player that made it to those NBA sets. Actually, no. Back then, it would have been the New Orleans Hornets.
Yeah. I was gonna say that was the NBA sets would have been before the Pelicans.
And I might be fuzzy about this, but 2004 was that before the Saints traded for Drew Brees, or did you guys have a Drew Brees in 2004?
What year did we get Breeze?
Because 2004 was the year when Eli Manning, Philip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger got drafted.
It might have been around the same time because I know it was shortly after Hurricane Katrina.
I'm gonna search this. When did Drew Brees get traded to the Saints? Okay, so at the New Orleans Saints website says you guys traded for him in 2006. So back in 2004, when Lego made the switch from the bluish greys, so they made the switch to the bluish greys, the reddish browns, and they retired the NBA sets. Drew Brees was still playing for the San Diego Chargers back then.
Okay.
And I believe they traded Drew Brees away because they wanted to go with Philip Rivers, who went on to have like a 17-year career with them.
Wow.
Yeah. And is a borderline Hall of Famer. However, you know who is going to the Hall of Fame? Drew Brees.
Oh yeah. With a cherry on top.
Because you guys in Louisiana must have been on cloud nine when you beat the Colts in the Super Bowl.
Oh dude, I ran around the block twice.
And as a Saints fan in Super Bowl 51, you would have been laughing in the face of your enemies, the Atlanta Falcons, when they pulled off the biggest choke job in Super Bowl history.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would have been sweet.
Because for those who don't know, the Saints and the Falcons as a rivalry is to the NFC South as what Lakers and the Celtics is to the NBA, as what the Yankees and the Red Sox is to the Major League Baseball. Johnny wants us to play PPP again.
Look it up.
PPP.
The weed.
So Owen is on bag 9 of the Millennium Falcon.
Nice.
General Tron says, I personally object to Lego increased price when they're building factories here in the US to bypass tariffs. So this is just greed, not because of tariffs.
Well,
Yeah, well, that's something else.
actually they
That's
started.
something else.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
started
see,
on that before the tariffs were ever even thought of.
yeah, that's something that some people have been talking about more recently because of all the tariffs that are that's going on with the US right now. Lego started building the Virginia factory 3 years before these tariffs right now, and I believe Lego started building that Virginia factory in response to the minifigures that were getting leaked out of the Mexico factory and entering the black market. And I know people who have paid over $100 for those minifigs that got leaked out of the Mexico factory. I think Brick Hive has a Mexico figure of Darth Revan or something. That's not
Okay.
the actual one that came out of the polybag. I might be wrong. It might be a different character, but I know a lot of people who have paid a pretty penny for the minifigs that leaked out of the Mexico factory, and so to my knowledge, that's the main reason why. Is because not only is the US such an important marketplace for the Lego group, but also to safeguard or an attempt to safeguard against leaks like that. So
Yeah.
when you guys do get that factory in Virginia, it's going to be a much more streamlined process about getting sets from factory to shelf, which means y'all won't have to wait as long.
Right. Um, I'm really dreaming of a Lego factory store. Even if it was half the size of what is in Germany, I would be ecstatic.
Yeah, that's a fair point, General Tron, because now that Lego will have a way to bypass any of those tariffs because of sets that get imported from Mexico and get imported from the European Union. Once they get their factory up and running in Virginia, they won't have to worry about. Well, they won't be able to use tariffs as an excuse when they raise their price. It'll more
Right.
so be about. It'll more so be about corporate greed and how much they think they can get away with charging for a set. Because you as
Exactly.
a because you've been collecting speed champions for how many years now?
Oh shoot. Um. Uh. Pretty much ever since they first came out. Really. I never
So
got every single one, but I'm pretty sure I got something from the first wave when they first came out.
So that means that as a speed champions collector, you've seen them increase in price 3 times
Yep.
because the scale increased and the quality of the details increased, but you have to pay for all of that.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Lego thinks their customers are dumber than what we actually are because some people are smart enough to realize, hey, l- what Lego's doing isn't cool. And so
Right.
we can notice all of these trends in the market, and we have voted with our wallet, and that's why some sets have been stuck on sale for 40% off for more than 3 months. Like there's that dream set that has the jail cage incorporated in its torso. That's been 40% off on the Lego website, at least where I'm at, for over 3 months now, because it's not as
Huh.
good as what it should be, and it was overpriced. Johnny says, Mayo, tell Scotty I voted to legalize cannabis party today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because
Bye.
there's an election going on. There's an election going on in our country right now.
Okay.
but we're not gonna talk about that.
Right,
Anyway,
politics.
anyway, so this is the stuff that we can personally connect on. What do you what do you actually I'm gonna go check the second and third round order, see who the Saints drafted at.
Yeah, see if we finally got a goddamn quarterback or not.
Because what you might have just spoiled me. I'm gonna look back in the draft order. So you guys drafted Tyler Shuck.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You guys drafted Tyler Shuck, and wow. Wait a minute. Oh, this is big. This is big. This is big news.
Uh-oh.
I'm going through the second round order, and I'm not seeing Shador Sanders.
What?
I am not seeing Shador Sanders.
Wow. Big news, everyone.
That is big news. Did he get drafted in the third round? Maybe. Let's say third round. Who's picked?
Third round.
Did he slip to the third round?
Wow.
I'm going up and down. Okay, so the Seahawks, they just turned in their pick. The Saints are on the clock at pick 93. So we're going to do live coverage. Oh, okay. So the Seahawks just drafted my guy Jalen Milroe at pick 92 in the third round. I wonder now that the Saints are on the clock if they're going to draft Shador Sanders next. Some people were thinking Jalen Milroe could be a second round pick, but he was bumped to the third round. The Seahawks just drafted him. So good to see him get drafted because he was from Alabama. Roll Tide!
Go Tigers.
So I am officially going to freak out if I see on the NFL.com draft tracker right now if the Saints or the Browns don't draft Shador Sanders.
Right.
And I know a lot of people will be freaking out that he wasn't drafted in the first round. And they will be freaking out even more if the Saints don't draft him right now or the Browns don't draft him afterwards. So
yeah.
You're hearing it first, people. This is live NFL draft coverage. I'm just going to keep refreshing the page until I see these people or until I see these players getting drafted. But that's that a lot of people have been telling me they're not high on Shador Sanders. I think Shador Sanders is the most storied draft pick of this draft class.
Mm-hmm.
Just because his father was arguably the greatest cornerback ever in Deion Sanders.
Right.
So it still says that the Saints are on the clock. I'm not sure how much you've been keeping up with the NFL draft, but you guys, I think people were saying you guys ranked 29th in pass block win rate, which is why you drafted an offensive tackle at pick 9. It says that the pick is in, so let's see who the Saints picked.
Okay.
So what do you think about getting an offensive tackle to help boost their offensive line that couldn't get good for pass
it's
rush?
definitely right. It was definitely needed. Don't get me wrong. I think our weakest point has always been really our defense more so than offense. And really my main concern with the team is just getting a quarterback.
Yeah, because you were banking on Derek Carr, and Derek Carr got that injury, which is why the Saints came into play for Shador Sanders to begin with.
Right.
But I think it's absolutely fascinating that Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, and Jalen Milroe have all been drafted before Shador Sanders. I think that's NFL general managers sending a message to him and his daddy.
I think so too. Yeah.
And if and I think Cliff is watching the draft as we speak.
Okay.
Because he was
He's
telling me he was telling me he was not high on Shador Sanders. Just like he wasn't high on Caleb Williams. Because we were talking about it and we both agree that Jaden Daniels last year should have been the number one pick. And it was because of Jaden Daniels that the Commanders went to their first NFC championship in 34 years. Wow! The Saints have passed on Shador Sanders. You guys just drafted Jonas Sanka.
okay.
Out of Virginia. I'm not sure what the position SAQ is. Not sure what that is. Let me search that. NFL SAQ. I'm not. Oh, sorry. No, that's not right. No, sorry, not SAQ. SAF. What's SAF?
Safety.
Oh, that's safety. Okay. So the Cleveland Browns pick is in. Perhaps they might draft Shador Sanders because because they drafted a tight end at the top of the third round. They drafted a linebacker at the start of the second round, and they drafted Quinshon Judkins, the Ohio State running back that helped them win the national championship.
Not bad pick.
Yeah. So if the Browns don't draft Shador Sanders right now, there is going to be a media uproar. Because I can't see, unless the Raiders want to take a flyer on him because they've got two more picks through draft compensation at the end of the third round. They might take a flyer on Shador Sanders. So I'm literally just waiting for the website to update.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Raiders signed Geno Smith to a 3-year deal. They drafted Ashton Genty, which I saw a lot of Ashton. Well, I saw some of Ashton Genty's game. If he gets put behind a good offensive line, he's going to be such a good running back.
Okay. All he needs is a little bit of blocking, and he's good to go.
Yeah, kind of like how Saquon Barkley, all we needed was a little bit of blocking, and we rode him to a Super Bowl.
There you go. Yeah.
Proves how much the Giants' offensive lines stunk. But if the Browns pass on Shador Sanders right now, there's going to be so many questions in the media.
Oh, indeed.
Oh my god. This is the anticipation we deal with as NFL fans, folks. Come draft time.
Yep. It's all right, Owen, the Lego Master. Just a little bit of American NFL football.
Yeah. General Tron says maybe the Seahawks get him. Well, you guys signed Sam Darnold to a 3-year deal. So I'm I'm not sure that the Seahawks would be in a position to want to take a flyer on Sanders because
Right.
now that we're in the weeds of the third round, this this is going to be such this what is happening right now is going to dominate American sports media for the next 12 months. It could be a situation like how the Cowboys drafted Dak Prescott in the 4th round all those years ago. If Cleveland don't draft him now, or if the Raiders decide not to take a flyer on him.
Right.
I was not expecting the 3rd round to be this intense.
Right.
All I know is that Howie Roseman made trades to get draft capital in the future, so in Howie I trust. But the Browns should be looking into a quarterback in the draft. Wow. Oh my goodness! My goodness! The Browns passed on Shador Sanders. They drafted Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon.
Yes, indeed.
Holy shit!
Damn.
Holy shit!
Wow. Huh.
Holy shit! So
Yeah, I would have never believed it.
that's amazing. That is shocking.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So that means Jackson Dart, Tyler Shock, Jalen Milroe, and Dylan Gabriel have all been drafted ahead of Shador Sanders. Holy shit.
Right. Sanders is not as big of a superstar as everybody thinks he is, I guess.
Enjoy your dinner, General Tron. Wait, I'm in loss. I'm in loss for words. I really am.
It's crazy.
I think we'll probably wrap up the stream after the Raiders make their two picks. Until we get to the Raiders, is there any closing thoughts that you have? Is there anything last minute that you want to say or talk about?
No. But I do want to exclusively thank you for having me on tonight. This was really fun. Getting to chit chat about my collection and getting to show it off a little bit and stuff like that. Yeah, it was really cool, man.
Yeah.
Got to go down memory lane a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think Johnny's here for all of my reactions right now. Hello, Buttchop. Good to see you here, buddy.
What up, Butt Chop? Good to see you, buddy. You missed all the train action, dude.
Yeah. So if you wanna hear us talking about Scott's Blocks trains and his city and his history collecting Lego, then the replay game is always available. Good to see you here at the end, Chopper.
Yeah, man.
I'm not sure what's happening where you're at right now, Chopper, but Green Bay would be jumping. Green Bay, Wisconsin would be jumping.
Yep.
See, my friend from high school is a Patriots fan, and so I knew that they were going to draft the top-rated offensive tackle at their pick 4. No, sorry, yeah, at their pick 4 in the 1st round. So I'm probably going to give him a call later to get his reaction to the draft. But Yeah, but what I was going to say is when you guys drafted Kelvin Banks Jr., I think that's a sign that you guys are, and also because you guys aren't giving the 5th-year option to Trevor Penning, I think you guys are going to let him go in free agency. He didn't pan out as well as Hudats thought he might have been.
Exactly. Just like a lot of players, but yeah.
Yeah. However, I did see some people on TV and social media say that Howie Roseman pulled it off again because Jihad Campbell fell in his lap, kind of like how Quinyon Mitchell fell into our laps last year, and also the person who intercepted Patrick Mahomes for pick 6 in the Super Bowl, Cooper DeJean, fell into our laps too.
Yes, indeed.
And that's what people were saying with Jihad Campbell, who a lot of people said was the best linebacker in this draft class.
Right.
Yeah, so the Patriots just made their pick in the third round. Falcons just made their pick in the third round. Vikings are on the clock right now. So when they turn in their pick, the Raiders will actually no. The Vikings just traded their third round pick to Houston.
Huh.
And actually, speaking of which, I'm not sure when you started watching the Saints on television, but do you remember when the Tennessee Titans were the Houston Oilers?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I remember when it was the Oakland Raiders.
Yep. Wait,
Yeah.
so that was their second stint in Oakland because they moved to Los Angeles for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're in Vegas.
Yeah. I was watching NFL back in the Dan Marino days and stuff, dude.
Yeah, back when Dan Marino was a consistent top 5 quarterback in the league, and when John Elway sailed away into the sunset because the Broncos gave him a running back to win back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yep.
In 97 and 98.
And of course, growing up as a kid, the Saints games were always on TV.
Yeah, so okay, so the Raiders are on the clock. Once they make their 2 picks, we'll end the stream. So you're getting a little bit of overtime action on today's stream because of teams making their draft picks in the third round of the NFL draft. We had our own parody YouTube draft where I got drafted first overall and Scott got drafted second overall. Haha.
Right.
Yeah. So the Raiders on the clock right now. Let's see who they take with their draft picks. If they don't take a flyer on Shador Sanders,
Right.
then you're going to hear another holy shit out of me because I don't think the Niners, the Eagles, or the Vikings need to draft a quarterback at this stage. We are down packed with arguably the best second round QB ever in Jalen Hurts. The 49ers are down packed with Brock Purdy, and the Vikings are going to be riding with JJ McCarthy. Also, something I've and this is a kind of topical. How magical was it when Joe Burrow had the greatest college season ever, and LSU won the national championship? How magical was that in Louisiana back then?
It was pretty insane. Thankfully, I don't live in Baton Rouge. I'm much closer to New Orleans, but I can only imagine how crazy shit got out there in New Orleans. I mean, in Baton Rouge, around the campus and everything. I'm sure it was pretty wild.
Yeah, let's see what people are saying in chat right now, because there's been a lot of stuff going on since I've been So Johnny was talking, and then I think they are. I think some of the GMs are hating on Dion because otherwise, okay. So the Raiders pick is in, and they're on the clock for their other pick. We're talking about the NFL, the National Football League. Reed just ended. Perhaps that's why Chopper is here. Johnny G thinks Sanders is overrated and says Sanders is like a Nintendo. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I know that's what you do because you guys are really good friends. So Chopper says, "I'm not far from Green Bay. I was born there. They got double the amount of population of Green Bay to the NFL draft."
Wow.
Yeah. So Chopper can confirm it's a nightmare in Wisconsin right now.
Yes, indeed.
Said Jihad is a real player's name. Jihad Campbell. I'm so glad that we drafted the best linebacker. There was a lot of positions we could have gone for. Linebacker was one of those, and I'm glad we were able to draft the best of one of those positions because this draft class wasn't as talented at the linebacker spot as what previous draft classes were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's saying that the pick is in for the Raiders, just waiting for Roger Goodell to announce their pick. And if anyone knows, this is the sound of the NFL draft. Yeah. So just waiting for the NFL app to update. But what are other people saying? Chopper says my first Packer game was against the Saints. My dad and I were sitting next to two Saints fans who flew to Green Bay for the game from Louisiana. The Saints lost. And Johnny's saying we love overtime. Yeah, the Saints do have a history of losing. Wasn't it John Mora who was once the Saints coach? Then he became the Colts coach and had that famous press conference saying playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yes,
talking
sir.
about the you talking about the playoffs? That was such a memorable press conference. That was as memorable as you play to win the game when Herm Edwards was coaching the Jets.
Right.
Okay, well the Raiders just drafted a guard out of Texas Tech, Caleb Rogers. So let's see if they take so the pick is in for their second pick right now. Let's see if they take a flyer on Sanders now. Because it says that the 49ers are now on the clock.
Okay.
So we'll just wait. We'll just wait for Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, to announce who the Saints draft with pick 98 with pick 99 in the third round, and then we'll skedaddle from this stream.
Okay. So the Raiders didn't pick Sanders either then.
Well, they have picks 98 and 99. They just drafted a guard. Let's see if they draft Sanders now. Because the Steelers didn't have a second they didn't have a second round pick, and they drafted a running back at pick 83 in the third round. So they passed. I know a lot of Steelers people in the media who who was sad that they didn't draft Sanders at 21.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was lots of stuff in the media that he did not interview well. Oh my goodness! The Raiders just passed on Shador Sanders.
Oh shit!
Holy shit!
Wow.
Because they just drafted a guard and they just drafted an offensive tackle.
Wow.
That is the bombshell news of the day.
Right? Nobody wants Sanders. Ain't that some shit?
Well, we've just been talking about this for the past 20 minutes or so, just because this was being tacked on to the end of the stream.
The thumbnail should have gave you fair warning, Buttchop. Sorry, buddy.
Hey, never too old for Lego. We started this stream 2 hours ago, so if you want to see what we talked about 2 hours ago, you can go back and watch this live stream on the replay. Butchop says, "Can I tell you about the 3 drunkest cities in Wisconsin and how I'm connected to them?" I don't think there's a copyright strike worthy of anything in here. So Chopper says, "I moved to the drunkest city in Wisconsin in 2004, lived there till 2024. Second drunkest city is where I live currently. Third drunkest is where I was born. 49ers are grizzled prospectors. Johnny wants you to run another train."
Right.
Chopper says, "Start an NFL channel if you're going to talk about corporate extortions." Yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so we're going to end this stream in 3 minutes and a little bit. So I think the last thing that's worthy of saying is, what are your next Lego projects?
Well, I kind of had a little bit of an incident with my log cabin layout, so I'll be working on getting that back together.
Well, we'll see what unfolds in that. So my next project will be building the Lego Blacktron Renegade, starting on the Transocean stream tomorrow, which as always starts at 8 p.m. in the UK, 3 p.m. in American Eastern, which for you, Scott, is 2 p.m. Central, which for us in Australia is 5 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Look at Mayo getting up.
Yeah, so if any of my Australian friends wake up on a Sunday morning, you can come and watch us, because we stream then. And Never Too Old for Lego is one of our co-hosts, so you can get links to the Never Too Old for Lego YouTube channel in the description of every episode of the Transocean stream. And I'm going to be starting building the Blacktron Renegade, because I bought 2 of those sets, and that is my birthday project. So I'm going to be celebrating my birthday by building that over various people's streams, which will probably include a couple episodes of the Lego Transocean stream, probably the jungle and the hangout.
Right. Nice.
And anyone else's channel if they want to invite me on too.
Right, wherever else Mayo might pop up at.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching this stream today. It is appreciated. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. You can see the links for the Scott's Block YouTube channel and Instagram page in the description below. It's been fun doing this hangout with you today, Scott.
Indeed, it has. Like I said, man, I really want to thank you for tonight. It was really cool, man.
Exactly. So so we'll be back whenever I have another guest lined up for one-on-one hangouts, and I'll see you around in the community, Scott.
Yes, indeed.
PPP.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for watching this stream today, everyone. Good to see some of you guys sticking around in the end. I've got other stuff to do today, so thank you for watching this stream. I'll see you in the next live stream, which will be the translation stream tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.